everybody, it's Ian the Off-Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. Today is the super exciting part of the puzzle mystery quilt, Name of the Rose. This was the spring puzzle mystery quilt from Cotton Cuts. And today we get to open up clue number 10 and we finally get the directions for how to put everything together. And this video is going to look a little different than all the other clue videos because in this one I need a larger space to put all the clues up so that way you can see them. Now, a couple of things to remember as you're going through this process. It's always helpful for me, at least, to make sure to keep all the blocks labeled even as you're putting it together. So I keep my labels on my blocks as I'm sewing them together, so that way I know for sure that this is this specific block and not something else, because they are sometimes easy to confuse. So my tip is keep those labels on until you are for sure ready to put everything together. It's going to make things a lot easier for you, and you don't have to dig back through your clue packages and figure out which clue is which. So that's an important tip to think about. And when I did this the last time, I actually had to spread it out on my bed because I needed a large enough area to kind of see everything and make sure that I was putting things in the right place. Today, I'm going to do my best to put it up on this mat so that way you can see what's going on and you can see how the clues are coming together. This is a new experience for me filming this process, so do please forgive me if it's a little clunky and a little disorganized. I promise as I get through this, it will become easier for me to be able to show you exactly what's going on. So anyways, all that saying, it's time to open up clue number 10. If you haven't already seen the reveal video from Cotton Cuts, make sure to go check that out. If you want to see what it looks like. If you don't want to see what it looks like and you want to be, if you want to experience of that, putting it all together in the final clue to see your beautiful quilt, then follow along with me and we'll have some fun putting our clues together. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's in our packet for clue number 10. Alright guys, we've got a lot of stuff here on the tabletop. Not all of this is included in your clue 10 packet. This is your clue 10 packet that you received in the mail. You should have received a copy of the clue small. This is the small clue 10 for Name of the Rose. You should also have your fabric guide for all the different fabrics, although it should be pretty easy to figure out where everything goes. I bought extra fabric. I originally bought this fabric for the back of my quilt, but I'm thinking as I'm looking at it that I'm going to go ahead and add this as a border onto my quilt to make it a little bit bigger. I'm 6'2" and I like big quilts, so I want to add a little bit of extra material to it so that way I can fit underneath it basically. And Cotton Cuts should have sent you an email, and if you didn't get this email, go back and email Cotton Cuts and let them know and they'll be happy to send it to you. This is a guide for how to add borders onto your quilt. So you can actually add on borders to make your quilt bigger, and they come in instructions for the small size quilt and then also instructions for the large size quilt. So you can actually make a standard size, which is the way that it comes originally. You can make a queen size or even a king size, which is 99 inches by 99 inches, which is just huge. It also tells you how much fabric you'll need for the backing of the quilt. So obviously I'm going to be working from the small quilt, and I'll be adding these borders, which when finished are going to be 4.5 inches, which will give me 9 inches. Gosh, math. Can I math right now? 9 inches in length in total. So that's going to help out a lot, adding a little extra yardage on the sides. So that's something else that you can do, but you don't have to. You can keep it at the standard size, which is 48 inches by 60. If you do it with the borders, it turns it into a 57 by 69 inch quilt. All right, enough of that. I want to make this very clear. I did purchase this fabric separately from Cotton Cuts to add on to my quilt. This is not sent in your Clue 10 package. Also, they do go ahead and send your binding fabric in here, and we'll show that here in a second. But if you're going to add an extra border, do remember that you'll need extra material for your binding as well. I know that's a lot of information, but it's crucial information if you're going to add extra material or extra borders onto your quilt. And inside Clue 10, it looks like we get a goodie for finishing everything out. Let's see what's inside. All right, it looks like I got a little bit of ribbon. I think, this is just a guess, but I think this is a ribbon from the Tula Pink homemade collection, because it's a little like soft measuring tape, basically. We also have this reprint and repurpose hand-printed upcycled craft fabric. Ooh, this sounds interesting. So I received what looks like some upcycled fabric that they did some printing on. Yeah. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. I got 4 squares of this upcycled fabric. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's take a look at what fabric is included in this packet. In this packet, we should have an A square, we should have 1 of those, and we should have 4 F rectangles, and these are rather large rectangles here. I also, again, did get my binding fabric. So this is the fabric that I would use for my binding, and since I am going to be making my quilt a little bit bigger, I'm going to have to find some more fabric like this, or if I wanted to, I could find another fabric that I like, but I think I'm going to go with this one and see if I can't find some more of it, so that way I can have this be my binding. All right. So that's what's included in this packet. It's not very much because it's all about putting this together, so make sure to grab your instructions, and let's go ahead and take a look at our first instruction. All right, everybody, go ahead and grab your instructions, and that way we can read along together and put this one together. And remember, we are using 1/4 inch seam allowances, so if you're not used to 1/4 inch, make sure to reprogram your brain for this project. You're using 1/4 inch. Step number 1, we're going to work on the quilt center. That's the first thing we're going to work on. And it says to join sections 5, 2B, and 9. So these 3 clues that we've worked on before, we're going to join all 3 of these together into a sequence. And remember, we have 2 of these. So we're going to make 2 of these exactly like this. We're also going to be pressing to the clue 2B, so press towards the center. So we're going to do that, and we'll have 2 of these when we're done, because they're going to become the top, and we're going to flip the other one over, and it's going to become the bottom row. Okay, we've finished with step number 1. I have my first row of 5, 2B, 9, 9, 2B, 5. I forgot you flip it over. Now we're going to put our middle row together. This is actually the very center of our quilt, and to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to join sections of 2A, so both of these are 2A, and we're going to attach what we got in our Clue 10 packet, which is the square of A. So we have this month's clue packet included in this one, so we have A and then 2A on either side. So let's go ahead and sew that together. Okay, we finished with step number 2 for the center, and once we finish sewing all 3 of these together, we're going to press towards the outside. So basically follow the arrows and just press towards the outside. All right, let's move on to step number 3. We're going to join these rows together, and we're going to press them either to the top or to the bottom respectively. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, everyone, we finished step 3 for the center of the quilt. You should have something that looks like this. Remember, you're pressing to the top and to the bottom respectively through the middle row. We've done the center. Let's go ahead and move on to our sides. All right, we're going to go ahead and move to our sides now. For this one, this first step is to join 3A and 3B together. Now, when I refer back to the instructions for Clue 3, I noticed that it's just Clue 3. There's no Clue 3A, 3B on there. So I think there may be a slight discrepancy on that, and you should have a block that's together just like this. So if you've been doing the small quilt, you have one that is just labeled as 3. So since we already have that done, we're going to go ahead and move on to step number 2, which says to join this section, which is 3, to sections 4B and 8. So we have 3, 4B, and 8. And we're going to put this together, and we're going to press it towards 4B. So we're going to press it towards the center. And just as a reminder, you're going to do that twice because we need 2 sides, and thankfully we're going to rotate the other one around 180 degrees, so that way it repeats the pattern on the other side. Okay, our next step is we're going to take what we just worked on and put that on either side, to the left and to the right of our centerpiece. That one's a little off camera, sorry about that, but remember, you want that one flipped around so that it starts at 8 and goes down to Clue 3. On this one, we want Clue 3 down to Clue 8. Alright, there we go. We've put on the sides to the center of the quilt and we've pressed outwards, so it should look something like this. As we're going through this process, I'm realizing I may look a little disheveled sometimes. My hair just kind of does what it wants to do. I promise I'm not pulling my hair out. It just goes a little wild sometimes because I'm walking from here to the sewing machine back and forth. Anyways, let's move on to the top and bottom part of our quilt now. This is going to be step number 1. We're going to join sections of 7A and 4A. We're going to press them towards 7A. Then the next part is we're going to add a rectangle of F from this month's package and we're going to press it towards the top. An important reminder here is you actually have 4 of these pieces to create. However, only create 2 that look like this, because remember, we need a mirror image for the other side. So don't get overzealous and make this one 4 times, just make it twice. Okay, I finished putting step number 1 together. They should look like this whenever you're done. Remember, we have 7A, 4A, and then our strip that was in this clue package, clue number 10. Alright, let's move on to step number 2 of the top and bottom row. Now what we're going to do, it's going to look very similar to what we just did. It's just kind of the inverse of what we did. Right now we're going to join sections of 4A and 7A. Again, we're going to press towards 7A, so towards 7A. And then we're going to add on our rectangle of F from our package this time. And we're going to press that towards the top, same way that we did on the last one. Press towards the top, yeah, I just read that, sorry. So we're going to press towards the top, just like we did on the last one, and we're going to make 2 of these. So let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, there we go. We have finished step number 2 of the top and bottom, so let's go ahead and get set for step number 3. I realized I kind of feel like a weather person pointing at the map, basically. But anyways, we have gotten all of that done, and this is how the top and bottom rows go together. You're going to start off with clue number 1 here on the left, then you move into the 7A, 4A block, then you're going to go to the 7B, 4A, 7A, and then clue number 6. So you're going to sew all of these together, and that's going to form your top and bottom. So again, you're going to do that twice. Once that step is complete, you're going to go ahead and press towards the center, so the one right here under my chin. I wish I had like 3 hands, that would make it so much easier. But anyways, you're going to press everything towards the center, and now you're ready to attach both the top and the bottom to the center part of your quilt. Alright guys, after you add your top row and your bottom row to the center of your quilt, you're done. This is what it looks like when it's all put together, and I love how it looks. It's a little bit too long for me to show all the way here on camera, but I love it and I can't wait to get this one quilted up. I am going to add the borders to it. I think I do want a little bit of extra length on it just to make sure it's big enough for 6'2" me. And here we go guys, here's my quilt with the borders added. I really love how this turned out. Now at the beginning of the video you saw me with this yellow fabric and I said this was going to be the border, but the more I looked at it, the more I felt like I liked this pattern with the blue fabric, and I wanted to kind of echo that out using the border fabric. So this is going to be my binding and hopefully my backing as well, and I think this is a great choice for putting this one together. So that does it for the Spring 2020 Puzzle Mystery Quilt from Cotton Cuts. Name of the Rose. It is gorgeous and I love how it came out, and I can't wait to see all the other colorways and what they look like as well. Hopefully you liked today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, let YouTube know that you like my video, and hopefully they'll share it out across YouTube land. Also guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want more tutorials from Cotton Cut projects such as Are You Game, which is the Fall 2020 Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So if you're working on Are You Game, make sure to come back to my channel and get more tutorials on how that one goes together. Remember guys, normal's just a setting on the dryer. Bye!